Hey everyone, it is Hunter Fireflower, and in today's video I'll be doing a summary and a review of the comic series The Rise of Kylo Ren, and in this one we're doing comic number 3, so without further ado, let's begin. So to start off, this is kind of like my first critique of the comic, and my main critique of the entire comic overall, or the entire series I should say, is the art style, and for me, like on this cover, Kylo Ren kind of looks like a woman. I'm not sure why he looks like a woman, but he kind of has the face of a woman, and it just throws me off because it doesn't look like him at all. So we start off in Varnick, which is, if you remember in the last comic, we had Kylo Ren at this temple, and we had Vo, Tay, and Hennix approaching him with their lightsabers drawn, about to fight him, and we know that Varnick is where the Knights of Ren are, and so Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo, whatever you want to call him, we now know he somehow escaped the Jedi Knights. We will find out later how he did that, what he did he kill them, did he just run away? And now he's meeting up with the Knights of Ren and trying to get into their group. And so we see the Knights of Ren down here. They're kind of chilling out with the bar, you know, talking to some ladies. And they're like, oh, check who it is. You know, it's Ben Solo. And then we see Ren down here. He's like, oh, you kind of look terrible. You know, looks like something chewed you up and then spit you out. And then Ben is just not comedic at all. He's like, that's not what happened. It was something else. And then Ren is like, bro, it's a joke. So we get this vibe that Ren is actually this more like cool, chill dude, you know? He's like more of a comedic, you know, like relax. And then Ben Solo is this high strung character. Then we have Ren over here, and all the Knights of Ren are kind of approaching him. And they're like, oh, you know, what do you want, you know, Ben Solo? We were told that Snoke told us that maybe you're something special, but we need a good death. That's like what you need to get into the Knights of Ren. And then Ben Solo goes on to say, you know, I've killed Jedi. And then Ren says, yeah, you thought you killed Luke Skywalker, but Snoke told us that was a lie. So you need to have, you know, something better. And then Ben continues on that, no, he didn't kill Luke Skywalker. It was somebody else. And we can assume that it was probably either Tay, Hennix, or Vo, or all three of them, or maybe two of them. So we'll see a bit of who he actually kills. And then Rey sits down, and they're all the Knights of Ren are together, and he's just kind of relaxed, reclined, and he's like, so tell us the story. And then Ben goes on to tell them who he killed. Then we go back out to the outer rim of El Farana, which is the temple where Ben Solo picked up Ren's mask to communicate with him, and that's where Tay, Vo, and Hennix attack. Ben just literally reiterates what we know about how he went back to the temple with Luke Skywalker, where they first met. And that's how he got in contact when 3 of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Knights attacked him. And we all know this, he's just literally telling the same story to Ren. And then Ren's like, hold up, I thought you were one of Luke's Jedi Knights. And then Ben goes on to say, yeah, I was, but I destroyed the temple, and, you know, I'm not anymore. And then Ren goes on, yeah, that's all fine and handy, but how will I know if that's a good death? If you just tell me you killed somebody, I need to know who these Jedi Knights are that you killed, who they are, where they're from. Please tell me more about them. And so we get another flashback where we see all of the younglings with young Luke Skywalker training them, and you can see Ren with Hennix, Vo, and Ty over here with a few other children, and they're working on levitating some rocks using the Force. And then we focus on Vo in particular, and how Vo has always had a thing against Ben because he's naturally good at everything, and it kind of pisses her off, and she's kind of jealous of him. Luke tries to explain that the Force is like a dam in a river, like you can kind of control the amount of water that goes in and out. For Ben, it's like wide open, so the Force just flows through him, but for you, it might be a little closed, and you just have to learn how to open up the dam a little bit more to let the water flow. And so we see that Vo is always outbest by Ben, and it always pisses her off. It always makes her angry that she can never beat him. She always strives to be better than Ben, but while doing that, she starts losing who she is and what her actual talents are because she's constantly fighting to be better than him. Then we go over to Hennix. He always thinks in puzzles. Like he's kind of more of the brains of the team, where you'll see him over here trying to open up a holocron, and he's the one that's discovering the Force through, I would say, more of like, Vo is more of like your martial arts person. Hennix is definitely more of like a sagey type Jedi. And one thing that's kind of funny is that Ben Solo kind of throws shade that, Hennix was always trying to discover the ways of the Force, but he was never actually quite good at it, so he'll spend the rest of his life trying to do that, even though he's kind of bad. Kind of throwing shade. Then we go on to the third one, who is Ty. He's the bald human here, and Ty is definitely more of your emotional, manipulative type of guy. He's always the person that will ask you questions about how you feel, what do you think about yourself, and he uses the Force to read people's minds. Ty is over here talking to Ben, saying you should always be yourself. I know you have like a box in your mind that you lock up and keep away from everyone, and Ty's just constantly reading his mind. If I was in Ben's position, I would be pissed off too. I'd be like, Ty, get out of my head, please. Stop reading my head. We get a feeling that Ty is kind of more of this like nurturing type of personality. Ty continues in saying you have to be who you are. You think that you're a bad individual. You think you're bad, but we all know who you are, Ben Solo. You're not as bad as you think you are. And I feel like Ty is kind of seeing this trend in Ben, that Ben is kind of going towards the dark side and he thinks that he's a bad individual, and Ty is basically warning him, you're not actually that bad. You're not that bad of a dude. You're actually a pretty cool dude. And I think he's kind of trying to say, don't fall to the dark side. But I obviously think that Ty doesn't know that he's falling to the dark side, but he can kind of sense it a little bit. Down the bottom two panels over here, Ren's like, okay, that's enough. Tell me about the fight then. Tell me what happened. Tell me how they died. And then we get a flashback back to the temple, and we see Ben over here taking on Ty, Vo, and Hennix. He pushes Ty out of the way, and Ben runs up or uses the Force to basically do a Superman up this cliff, and Vo immediately chases after him because it's in her character. She always wants to defeat Ben. She'll always be after him, always 4 steps behind him, trying to defeat him. And we see Hennix down here warning her, hey, you can't do this by yourself. We have to do this as a team, but Vo does not care. And we see her, she continues to chase Ben, and Hennix is just like, oh my god, this needs to stop. We have to stop together and think. And Ty is over here just waking up, and we see Vo is about to face off with Ben all by herself. And then she calls Ben a murderer, and Ben freaks out, and he's like, is that what you want me to be? You want me to be a murderer? He force pushes her off, and then she's going to fall to her death unless she does something. And then Ben realizes that, oh crap, I'm killing her. I'm going to murder her. So then he tries to use the Force to hold her in place and then bring her back to the rock. And then while that's happening, Hennix is in this rage because he's like, oh no, Ben is trying to kill Vo, and so he throws his lightsaber, and then Ben turns around and he stops the lightsaber in place, kind of similar to what we saw in The Force Awakens, how he can stop blaster bolts. He stops the lightsaber, and then Vo plummets to the ground, and then he pushes it back to Hennix, and Hennix can't stop it, and he dies. And at the same time, Ben's over here trying to reach out with the Force while he pushed the lightsaber back to save Vo. We have Ty over here trying to use the Force to stop her fall. Ty and Vo survive. They're just badly wounded, and they're not doing too well. Meanwhile, Hennix is killed. Then Ben in this middle panel tells them to get in the outpost, and they don't really agree. They're just like, what happened to Hennix? They're questioning him. Then Ben just snaps his fingers, and they go flying into the outpost, and then he brings the outpost down on them with all of the rocks and everything. Then we have Ren over here thinking what do you guys think of that? Was that a good death? And then they all kind of agree that, yeah, that wasn't really good at death because you didn't actually want to kill Hennix. It kind of was forced by Ben to kill Hennix to save himself. And they're thinking hey, you were vouched by Snoke. We'll take you along, but you're not going to be really a Knights of Ren until we see a good death that you can do. So I'm assuming in some way, that he's going to have to try and kill somebody else. I don't know. We'll find out who it is. And then we see Ren is just get Ben some new clothes because, he looks terrible. And so they're going to go strap him up with some new clothes. And we see him kind of in this dark version of Han Solo. I don't know why. It just looks like dark Han Solo to me because it's just all black. And so this is Ben's new look. And then Ren's just much better. Now we're going to go kill something, basically. Meanwhile, Ty and Vo survive the crash, and they're out here together using the Force to try and push their way out, and they make a hole in the rumble, and they're escaping, and they're trying to think of what they're going to do to try and stop Ben. Ty then tells Vo that he was reading Ben's mind while they're in combat, and he knows where he's going to go next, and he thinks that they should go meet up with him there so that they can try and help him go back on his true path of being a light side Jedi. And Poe doesn't care. She's done with Ben Solo. She's like, he is going to die, and she ignites his lightsaber, and she's just like, I'm going to see him end. For once, Ty actually agrees, and they're going to probably try and kill him because they think he's gone. They think he's a lost Jedi. And after seeing Hennix's death, Ty is basically like, yeah, he's gone. He's lost. We should try to put an end to him before he kills more people. So anyways, guys, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment of what you liked. It really helps my channel grow. And if you'd like to see other Star Wars content, please subscribe. I do comic reviews as well as book reviews regarding all timelines, legends, and canon. So if you want to see more of that, please subscribe and check out my other videos. I make pre-Old Republic content. I've been making Darth Vader content, and also the rest of the Kylo Ren series I'll be posting. So if you want to see more of that, please subscribe and look out for those videos. But that's about it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Stay frosty.